Hey, hey, hey. Hmm, 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 hmm. What's going on, niggas? I had to restart it a bit. I ain't have my audio going. Man, see, I did it again, bro. I ain't got my fucking audio, bro. Thought that piss me off, man. Damn, man. Damn, man. Damn, man. Hey, hey, damn, man. Hey, 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 hey. All right, let's go. Yeah, bro. I fucked up the whole shit. I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we just gonna react to some videos, cause I had some shit going, but I messed it up. So we just gonna yeah, we just gonna find shit to watch, bro. Cause at this point, I ain't even trying to do no crazy shit. I'm low key pissed. I was recording for like 30 fucking minutes, bro. 30 motherfucking minutes, bruh. WWE embarrassed. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Becky, she was violating, my nigga.
What is going on, guys?
She was
It is WrestleMania here.
super
Back with some more
violating,
news.
bro.
Join us now as we look at the wildest
We
news
gonna see
stories
how
and
far
rumors you
this
need
shit
to
go. We
know,
gonna see
including
what the good
backstage
stuff
heat
is
on
out of
Becky
this.
Lynch as WWE are embarrassed. A former WWE star is furious and goes off. Did John Cena bury a former star? Vince McMahon appears in court. Does Vince McMahon hate the current WWE? Rampage Jackson asks for forgiveness for his son. Lex Luger walks again, and much more.
What the
Be
fuck
sure to
Vince doing in
subscribe and hit
court?
that
And shout
notification
out
bell for
Lex
daily
Luger,
wrestling
baby.
videos, and follow us
Walking,
on
let's
Facebook for
go.
exclusive lists. Our first story looks at backstage heat on Becky Lynch. Our top story today looks at potential backstage heat on Becky Lynch following a promo on Raw. Lynch's promo from Raw continues to receive mainstream attention.
That
and this
shit was
escalated
so
when Kelly
nasty,
Osbourne chimed
gang.
in.
That shit was so nasty. You are a disrespectful dirtbag. Birmingham would not piss on you if you was on fire. Birmingham forever. Shame on WWE for allowing such a thing to be said about my father and his home. Oh shit. No, she did.
Rather
She did. She
negatively
was
via
crashing
her
out on
Instagram
Ozzy though,
story.
bro.
And for those unaware, these are the comments in Lynch's promo that referenced the late great musician
That nigga
Ozzy
caught
Osbourne.
strays for
The
no
only thing good to come out of
reason.
here died a month ago. But in fairness to Ozzy Osbourne, he had a good sense to
I
move
would
to
have.
LA,
I would have
a
died
proper
too.
city, because
That
if I
shit
lived
crazy.
in Birmingham, I'd die too. But now a report has surfaced related to WWE's response to the controversy. According to Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer Live, WWE are quote-unquote embarrassed by the promo, and they may even look to issue a formal public and private apology. I can tell you, this was not like they called her and they're doing something together.
It's better.
Kelly is not happy. I was told WWE is embarrassed and they're probably going to do an apology. They may not. If you look back at how many times WWE's actually apologized for something, it ain't many. There's discussions about doing a public apology. I know they've talked about doing a private apology. The WWE have been called out a lot recently by mainstream outlets, and they've even received significant backlash by bringing back Brock Lesnar. But it's rather interesting that this scandal is what's led them to issuing an apology. Does this mean that Lynch now has backstage heat? Well, the report certainly implies just that. If WWE are embarrassed by the promo, it suggests that they weren't aware of what Lynch was going to say, and this would mean that the line was completely unscripted. It's unlikely that this impacts Lynch's standing in the company.
Two ways for this shit, bro. I'm saying it's either she did that shit, she pulled it out her ass at the last minute. You know how these promos go. You just start running off what you feel as if you can say, you know what I'm saying, to catch heat. I get that part, but I don't know. I don't think I really believe the part that the WWE knew about this. Cause I know that, I don't know, but then again, WWE do have history of doing some fucked up stuff. Some fucked up stuff. In terms of like disrespectful. So I don't know, man. I feel like Becky ran off with this shit though.
Company in any capacity.
I don't know if the
especially
WWE
with her
had
being
anything
a
to do
top
with
heel
that.
and one of the biggest stars on
That
the
shit was
entire
too. That
roster.
shit was too.
Obviously, fans.
Bro, I said myself when I heard her say that shit, I was like, huh? Wait, you dead ass right now? No fucking way you say nothing like that, bro. There's no way, bro.
Fans continue to
And she
defend
kept
Becky Lynch on
double
social
downing
media,
on
and
it
she
too,
is a heel
bro.
after all, and this is what he'll say to get a reaction from the crowd.
Man,
But
hell
it's
nah.
understandable
You
if
don't say no shit
WWE
like
wants
that,
to
though.
formally apologize to the Osborne family. Next up, a former WWE star is furious and goes off. A former WWE and AEW star Jack Swagger, aka Jake Hager, appeared on Chris Van Vliet's podcast yesterday, and to say that Swagger's comments are causing controversy would be an understatement. Swagger didn't seem to have anything nice to say about anyone, and one of the names he took aim at was Goldberg. According to the former WWE World Champion, nobody wants to watch Goldberg, and names like Goldberg are taking spots and money away from other talent. You always gotta evolve.
Shut
like I
up,
said earlier,
hating-ass
you gotta
boy.
be vulnerable. So you're this big tough guy and you can only do that for so long. Nobody wants to watch Goldberg now. He can't run a spot. He sucks. Yeah, I said that, bitch. He can't run a spot. The only thing he could do is an effing spear and get paid $600,000 for it. Then stop pro wrestling. Stop coming in and taking our money. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Whilst Goldberg isn't exactly Kurt Angle in the ring, the idea that Goldberg wrestling is taking a spot away from Swagger is rather hilarious. Swagger came across extremely bitter in the interview, and taking aim at Goldberg for absolutely no reason seemed completely unjustified. Next up, did John Cena bury a former star?
Nigga, bro.
Now, speaking of Jack Swagger, he once again brought up John Cena during the Chris Van Vliet interview. Infamously, Cena refused to put over Swagger back in 2010. WWE initially wanted Swagger to cash in and win the WWE title from Cena, but Cena wasn't exactly the biggest fan of this idea. According to Swagger, Cena absolutely refused to put him over, and he had some rather unflattering remarks when it came to the legendary wrestler. I was told that was what happened, because the original plan was I was going to beat him Monday night on Raw and not do the tease. But I'm a young guy, I've been there for a cup of coffee, so what are you going to do? But I'm not only the guy he's done that to, he did that throughout his career. I was surprised to see what happened with him and Truth lately, because usually he tried to take that glory, but I feel like this time, he's the one who said we better go with Truth and get him back here. And naturally, fans on X today are picking these comments apart. Swagger's world title win in 2010 was always a questionable move, and Swagger is framing it as if Cena refusing to lose to him cost his career, which simply isn't the case.
What?
Next up, Tony Khan blasted. Jack Swagger also turned his attention to AEW president Tony Khan and blasted him. According to Swagger, he felt jaded during his contract negotiations with Khan, and during the Chris Van Vliet interview, he decided to go in on Khan like nobody has done before. Anyways, I always find it a way to say this every day, so I think everyone should too.
Bro.
Say F Tony Khan. I could tell he didn't want me there. He offered me like a 1.5 year new deal, and I was like, bro, I just did Stadium Stampede twice. Don't act like Stadium Stampede didn't put AEW on the map. And I was in the debut AEW Dynamite episode. I was the big spoiler, and you offer me 18 months after all that? So it was that, and the way he started running the business, that it really, like, he wasn't a professional. Swagger would then claim that there was a talent meeting in AEW, and FTR were refusing to come to television. After all the punk shit that went down, the boys got together and we had a meeting, and this was the boys' only no office. Sting's in there, Big Show, Paul White, Jericho, Bryan, Mox, they were all standing at the front, kind of like talking to us through this shit. Lo and behold, who comes into the room storming in? Daddy's Little Billionaire. And he's like yelling at us because I think it was Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler didn't want to come in. They didn't like the storyline, so they refused to come to TV that day. And he was like, listen, I'll put you in a 6-man, 6 minutes before the show, and you're gonna do it. And we're just like, all feeling disrespected. But since Swagger's comments were shared online, both members of the FTR commented on Swagger's claims. As Dax mentioned on X, Cash and I were at the all-talent only meeting that was called by Bryan, Jericho, and Mox. Tony never interrupted. Cash and I have never refused to show up to work, and I dare to say, if you look at our schedule since Collision started, we're the most consistent talent that make both shows every week. Not really sure where this is all coming from, but it's mostly not true. Cash even posted screenshots of the messages between him and Jake saying, I apologize if you're upset. I said I think it was you too. Didn't you say it definitely was? But that meeting happened. I know, but to say I think and then actually say our names makes us look like assholes, and it wasn't even us. We're assholes, but we show up for our work. Jake Hager then apologized, saying, I apologize and I shouldn't have said your names, especially when I didn't know for sure. Did that sound like a sincere apology from Swagger, who obviously got the facts wrong? Next up, Vince McMahon appears in court. A former WWE chairman, Vince McMahon, appeared at the State Superior Court in Stamford yesterday, where he applied for the Accelerated Rehabilitation Program. If granted, this could potentially see the charges relating to the driving incident last month completely dropped. McMahon's attorney, Mark Sherman, said that if the program is granted, it would guarantee a complete dismissal of the case, but still allow Vince to convey contrition and concern for the other drivers, which is his top priority. McMahon is now scheduled to appear in court in the middle of October. Next up, a leaked photo from Vince McMahon's birthday. And there were reportedly no public photographs allowed at Vince McMahon's 80th birthday party. However, Jerry Lawler didn't get that memo. Lawler, who was in attendance at the party, posted a photo from the event to his Instagram story, and he quickly deleted it, so he was no doubt reprimanded for this. In the photo, Lawler is seen with names such as Drew McIntyre, The Miz and Maurice, Sheamus, and Titus O'Neil. Next up, does Vince McMahon hate current WWE?
He probably do.
Since Triple H took over WWE creative, fans have actually wondered what exactly Vince McMahon thinks of the current WWE product.
He probably hate that shit.
Triple H and TKO made so many changes to the product that it's virtually unrecognizable compared to McMahon's version of WWE. Sean Ross Sapp via a Fightful Select Q&A discussed McMahon's stance on the current product, and according to the reputable Sapp, McMahon would hate the changes made to the WWE product, but he still keeps up with what is occurring on television. I think he hates them. People close to me tell him that he still keeps up with what is going on, but don't really elaborate on it. The reality is that if Vince McMahon wanted any of these changes, he would have made them happen long ago. Vince McMahon's reputation wasn't as much prioritizing money over everything like TKO is doing. Sapp would continue by saying that McMahon prioritized what he wanted over everything else. Vince McMahon's reputation was more about prioritizing literally whatever he wanted, which many times came at the expense of his own reputation, finances, and the stockholder interest. He made a lot of great decisions in the 80s, 90s, and even into the 2000s. But the reality is that his inability to adjust cultivated the environment for a solid number 2 in America to emerge. Due to McMahon not taking part in many public interviews, he has for the most part kept quiet when it comes to sharing his opinions publicly on what he thinks of the current product. But with that being said, when McMahon was interviewed by TMZ recently, he was extremely critical of the way WWE presented Hulk Hogan on television back in January. Next up, Rampage Jackson asked for forgiveness for his son. Rampage Jackson has made a new statement related to his son Raj's brutal assault on pro wrestler site.
Raj said it wasn't his fault, it was the cameraman's fault. He said it's some bullshit that the cameraman kept recording. No, it's some bullshit that you got out there. Told these folk you was gonna go out there and whoop this man's ass before you did it. Cause he hit you in the head with a can. He was like, man, you gotta understand, bro. You can't hit people in the head with a can, but I'm really finna do it. I know wrestling scripted, but fuck that. I'm about to do it. Fuck it, I'm about to do it. Like, come on, bro. Then you really expect the cameraman to stop recording, bro? I'm pretty sure you done told a nigga once or many times before, once this bitch rolling on this live stream, don't stop this motherfucker. So I'm already knowing subconsciously that was like some type of that was some type of bullshit way to put the blame on somebody else. Well, how is it the cameraman? Bro, either way it go, your ass would have been grass. Cameraman recording or not, cause we would have definitely found out you whooped his ass. You would have had still shot pictures of you whooping his ass, and you still would have got the same backlash of being a dickhead, bro. Like, it don't matter what you say. It don't matter who you try to throw the blame on, my nigga. It was nobody in that ring except for you and Psycho Stu. And obviously, we see what happened to Psycho Stu, bro. You feel me? And after everybody got caught on to what was going on, they started to assess the situation. But it was nobody's fault, my nigga. But yours, bro. So don't put that blame on nobody else, cuz. Just take that shit to the chin as a man, cause you gotta take that shit to the chin regardless, brother. You gonna have to when you stand up on that, when you go to court, you gonna have to stand 10. You feel me? And whatever comes after this, bro, you gonna have to stand 10. Cause there's so much evidence out here. Like, I get the clickbait videos. I feel that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the actual legitimate video. No skips, no pauses, no nothing. Just straight 30-second video. A 30-second video, anybody could see this shit was wrong. Even, it's worse how you cooked it up though, my nigga. That's what the problem is. Like, I can get if you would have been mad and just did it off for like, as soon as it happened, like hit you in the head with a can, then you start whooping his ass. All right, cool, bro. Like, that's straight instinct. Then you could probably say like, all right, bro, I was just going off of straight, like I said, instinct. Like, you hit me, ooh, you feel me? Like reaction time type shit. Bro, no, bro, you waited until later on that day. Waited till my man was going through his match. I'm pretty sure waited till the match was over. Damn near at least halfway it was over. You obviously jumped in there when you feel as if it was your time to. You pick her up, boom, slam him, and just start going to work. And I felt like when he was going to work, I think subconsciously, he was waiting for somebody to stop him, grab his hands or something. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's no way. Because he kept punching. Fall, lean over, punch. Lean over, get back right. Punch. I really feel like he was hoping somebody stopped this shit. He may not say it. He may not ever say it, bro. But I dead feel like that's what his intentions was, to get off on him real quick, get him up. Then it's over.
Stu,
That's
in a
just
video
how I
posted
feel,
on
bro.
social media, Jackson said that he's not condoning his son's actions, and he hopes one day he can meet Stu to forgive him. I don't condone what my son did. I'm gonna let justice play out. I just wish I could have been there.
Man.
Hopefully one day I can meet Psycho Stu and
bro,
shake
but
his
shit,
hand.
you gotta do what
I
you
hope he
gotta
can
do,
forgive
bro.
me as a dad for not understanding everything. The GoFundMe for Stu continues to skyrocket, with Mr. Beast donating $10,000 overnight, making a new goal of $200,000, which could be met in the next couple of days. Next up, Lex Luger walks again. Now there's some amazing news to share relating to Lex Luger, as DDP Yoga has posted a recent video of Luger walking around his kitchen. Luger has been confined to a wheelchair for a number of years, but thanks to DDP, he's slowly learning to walk once again.
Baby.
Earlier this year, Luger was quite rightly inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, so 2025 looks to be an incredible year for the former world champion, and a surprise appearance at a WWE show. Now, final story today takes a look at a surprise appearance at last night's show in Manchester, England. On the show last night, The Miz hosted an open challenge, and it was answered by none other than TNA star Joe Hendry. The Miz hosted an open challenge last night's show in Manchester, England. On the show last night, The Miz hosted an open challenge.
I gotta go back and watch that shit, bro, because I didn't finish watching Raw last night.
Hendry received a thunderous pop, and this was a genuine surprise, as this hadn't been spoiled online prior. Hendry has made a number of WWE appearances, and he's even wrestled Randy Orton at WrestleMania this year. It seems like only a matter of time before the former TNA World Champion is WWE bound. But there you have it, folks. The wildest news, stories, and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below.
Got his ass out of there. That's crazy. Mr. Beast donated 10 racks. Damn. Kid Clown, Jacob. Wait, what?
Kareem would complain about how players back in the day didn't have the self-awareness because Kareem was extremely critical of how socially a lot of players were just not aware. Even when
all right, yeah. All right, we'll double back to that. We talk about NFL opening week, baby. First, oh shit, baby. We got the NFL coming up, baby. Got the NFL coming up, baby. Let go. Got the NFL coming up, baby. Let go. All right. So the teams, I know I'm for sure. We looking at Dallas and the Cowboys. For sure, Carolina and the Jaguars. The Browns and the Bengals. And the Ravens and the Bills. I got every team. I got a certain feel for them. I'm talking about, like, I fuck with the Ravens because of Lamar. You understand what I'm saying? I was fucking with OBJ at one point. My partner told me go where OBJ goes, so OBJ had went to the Ravens. I was fucking with the Ravens. Then I started falling in love with Lamar. Then one of my brother partners, Isaiah, the tight end, Isaiah Likely. I actually knew him before he went to the league. He was playing football for Coastal. I don't know him like I can hit him up, but I knew him. So I be showing love. I like seeing that boy catch a TD, baby. I love that. So that's why I like the Ravens. The Eagles, my pops like. Carolina, obviously, because I live in South Carolina, or I'm close to the Carolinas. Bryce Johnson. I'm fucking with. No, that's Bryce Johnson, not Bryce Johnson. What the fuck is his name? Bryce. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Bryce that played for Carolina. I'm fucking with that. They got receiver over there. I forgot his name. The country dude, Xavier. Then you got you got Jimmy Horn over that bit. Getting off on the ass. Jimmy Horn finna go crazy. I got to get a jersey off them boy. And then the Browns, obviously, Shador, bro. Like, oh, wait. Yo.
Eagles ready to start their quest for the double-double with cheese, a.k.a. back-to-back ships.
we're going to be one on that Wednesday twice, too.
Paying them a visit.
Hold on. What?
A.k.a.
That bitch dancing. I that Super Bowl chain hard as a motherfucker.
back-to-back ships.
And we're going to be one on that win this fight, too.
Paying them a visit, every true green-blooded Philly fan's
that ain't no
favorite team
shit,
aside from
bro.
their own, the Star, a.k.a. America's team, a.k.a. the Dallas Cowboys.
We understand them.
Week 1 matchups are unknown, right? Fresh slate for all.
I'm
So here's a
saying,
Carl
though,
Reed,
bruh,
groundskeeper
like-
Willie, Argus Filch take on the game. 14 important keys.
We just did this all year. Don't stop
This some
now.
bullshit.
Custodians carry a lot of keys still, right? Taking down the reigning champ week 1 the following year, not easy. Since 2000, the
Oh,
Lombardi
shit,
owning
20 and
squad 20 and
5.
5. Philadelphia's offensive recipe, pretty much the same as the one they used to cook up their title-winning meal, typically involves a heavy helping of key number 2, Saquon Barkley, setting out to see what he can do after piling up over 2,000 yards in a single season.
Backwards,
Barkley was a
nigga.
problem
Yes.
for Dallas last year. Pretty much every running back was.
He's at the 30. He is at the 25-yard
Hell
line.
of a
Pretty
year,
much every
bro.
offense was. Makes key number 3
Alvin.
the debut of Dallas DC, Matt Eberflus. Can he draw something up to slow Saquon and company down?
If we stop this run, bro, we're going to get after them.
4th key on the ring. If Dallas's D doesn't stiffen up, can their offense keep up? Couldn't last year without Dak. Prescott has a new head coach and Brian Schottenheimer backing him up. A new elite wideout. too.
Prescott
What
shoddy.
does that equal when they have the ball?
Be ready. I'm going to throw a couple of touchdowns to him, 4 to 88.
The Pickens effect is our next
Hey.
key. George makes his Dallas
Oh, he
debut.
is on Dallas.
I want this to be something tropical for you.
What does their air attack look like with him and CD?
You're really my favorite player. Come on, bro.
Lamb, 1,100 plus yards a year, the last 4 straight. Been a while since he's had someone else to keep teams from doubling him every down.
The world knows he
He
can't
kind of big,
Lamb has
too.
5 week 1 games under his belt, has only gone over 100 yards once. Won't be easy versus Quinyon and Cooper. That tag team matchup is
Cooper
our 6th
DeJean.
key. Eagles don't have the Slaymaster at corner anymore, but they have Mitchell and DeJean, both stud rookies last year.
Is intercepted.
Philadelphia secondary was a big reason they won it all last season. 2nd fewest points per game allowed at 17.
Cooper DeJean, a pick 6 in the Super Bowl on your birthday.
But the group
That's
that starts in this one
crazy.
won't be the same as last year's. Change at one corner spot, at safety, as well as up in
Rookie?
the trenches. First rounder Jahad Campbell will debut at linebacker. Should see second round safety Andrew Makuba as well. Key number 7. Are they as strong as they were, or
Ooh.
will it take time to gel?
And that is that. Welcome
Out
to
of
the
there.
Philadelphia
Hit
Eagles.
the gas on
Andrew
their
Makuba.
ass.
Let's return to Philadelphia's offense now. Back to Hurts for key numero ocho. Week 1, Jalen has never lost. Hurts so good when you go 4-0 coming off your summer break.
We already know what time it is.
Eagles offense far from one-dimensional. Key number 9 then, the battle between Dallas's secondary and Devontae Smith and AJ, time enough at last, Browns. Pass D, another area Eberflus is trying to improve. Struggled in 2024. Deron Bland trying to rebound.
And it is caught for the touchdown.
No big free agent signings or draftees either. AJ has been good for 6 books, 75 plus yards in his last 3 straight
AJ a
Week 1
fucking
games.
beast,
He's
bro.
top shelf.
Touchdown, A.J. Brown.
Smith still in the vying for best Dick Grayson in the NFL.
It's been a ride, huh? It's been a ride.
How much time Hurts has when he throws just depends on if Micah's
Micah just
done with
acting
his
like a
nachos and his
kid.
nap. At the moment, Parsons Sitch is still up in the air. If he's back in the fold, then you have the Hart Foundation taking on the Road Warriors
It
as
ain't,
key
it
number
ain't
10.
gonna really
One at a
mean
time,
nothing
right
if
here.
Micah come
One
back,
at a
bro.
time.
Because
Fowler and Micah
Jerry
versus
already
Lane
like,
Johnson,
nigga,
Jordan Mailata.
that don't-
Mailata and
just 'cause you
Johnson,
getting paid,
one
that
of
don't mean
the
you gonna
top
play.
tackle tag teams in the game.
I love when they doubt you.
They'll be trying to suplex Fowler, who returns to Dallas off a 10-sack year with Washington.
Here's Dante Fowler.
Maybe they try and catch Parsons off the top rope. For anyone new to the NFL, he's a pretty good pass rusher.
Let's get another turnover, another stop, D.
Sack plus in his last 3 straight Week 1 games.
The pride is still up this week.
Also should see Dallas's rookie defensive end, Donovan isn't going to work here anymore anyway. No, Donovan Ezeraku debuts, second rounder.
ain't gonna work here anymore.
What about Philadelphia's new look pass rush versus Tyler +2? No more Josh Sweat and
He
Milton
ran into
Williams
his
in the trenches
teammate,
for
dog.
Philadelphia, but youngsters Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith will be out there looking to build off really strong finishes to their 2024s.
Strip sack.
and it's Bond out of the pile with possession.
Philadelphia's pass rush wasn't elite on paper, but they rarely blitzed.
Damn.
Dallas debuts first-round guard Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, other guard, Tyler Guyton at the left tackle, right tackle Terrence Steele. Terrence, really? That's so un-Tyler.
QB sneak at left guard. In for a
Damn.
touchdown.
Those dudes will try and open up lanes for a brand new Dallas rush attack, too. Cowboys run game key number 12, Javonte Williams and
Yeah,
Miles
all that.
Sanders.
Yeah, they talking about some bullshit right now, but yeah, we already know Shador ain't starting shit. Dylan Gabriel is the nigga that's gonna be ahead of him. So we not trying to make that shit make sense at all, bro. Because this shit is annoying. Every genuinely weird NBA story the league never wanted you to hear. I'm fucking with that. Come on, baby. And some weird shit.
Gilbert Arenas' Sharks.
Oh,
Gilbert Arenas didn't just
damn.
make waves on the court. He literally
That
built
nigga
one in
had
his living room.
sharks?
Inside his over-the-top Virginia mansion sat a custom shark tank, chilling right there like it was no big deal. It wasn't a cute little aquarium either. This thing looked like it belonged in a James Bond villain's lair. His place had the full package too. Grotto-style pool, extra fish tanks, party spaces big enough for a small concert.
What?
And of course, his beloved sharks lurking behind thick glass. Now the upkeep, that's where it gets wild. He was dropping around $5,000 a month just to feed them. Not on himself, on sharks.
Fuck.
Then toss in another $1,500 every single month for their professional care. That's over $6,500
That
each
ain't
month
shit for a
just to
nigga in the
keep his
league,
pets from
though,
becoming
bruh.
floating problems. Do the math and boom, almost $80,000 per year just to
Fuck
keep the
it.
underwater predators from going hungry.
Yeah, that's
or
crazy.
funky. Eventually,
That's
the mansion
fucking
hit the
crazy.
market for about $3.5 million. But surprise, surprise, the Sharks weren't part of the deal because apparently not everyone's up for casually spending a luxury car's worth every year on sea creatures.
Yeah?
By 2014, the home sold, but the Sharks stayed behind. Not in the house, just left out. The tank stayed as a design flex, but no buyer was signing up for that fishy responsibility. And honestly, who could blame them? There's baller, and then there's having your
Yeah,
own
that's
Shark
a
Tank
2014
baller.
career. That shit
definitely
was
knew the
huge,
difference. Nate
nigga.
Robinson's Seahawks tryout. Nate Robinson didn't just chase basketball dreams. He sprinted straight into the NFL conversation at age 32.
What the fuck
On a
was you gonna
random
do?
Monday in June, he showed up at the Seattle Seahawks facility with real plans to make the team. Not joking around either. He just finished playing overseas, still had bounce in his legs, and called football his big-time dream. He was so serious. He said it was like a heart attack. Pretty dramatic.
He
but
wouldn't have
that's
been
Nate
able
for
to
you.
do
This
much,
wasn't some
though.
fantasy move either. Back in high school, he dominated on the field with 21 touchdowns and more than 1,700 yards. Then at Washington, he actually started 6 games at cornerback as a freshman
Hey.
in 2002. 34 tackles and 2 picks later, he walked away from the helmet to chase hoops full time. But the football
He
itch never
actually
really
played,
left.
though.
At the tryout, the Seahawks tested him at defensive back. Pete Carroll called him an amazing athlete and said he caught the ball well. Sounds promising, right? Not so fast. Carroll also admitted it was about as difficult a transition as you
Yeah.
could find. The
I'm about
guy
to say,
had
yeah.
speed, but he wasn't 20 anymore.
Yep.
He had a long way to go. And
Yep.
the Seahawks didn't sign him. Had he pulled it off, Robinson would have been only the second guy ever to jump from the NBA to the NFL. The only one before him, Bud Grant, way back in the early 50s. But that record stayed safe. Robinson's football adventure ended as fast as it started. Charles Barkley's cornea burn. Back in November of 1994, Charles Barkley missed the Phoenix Suns season opener
fuck happened?
because of something way more random than a pulled hamstring. The guy burned the top layer of his cornea with body lotion. Not on purpose, obviously. It all started at an Eric Clapton concert, which is already a plot twist. Between the bright stage lights and some rough allergies, Barkley kept rubbing his eyes like the world was ending. Problem was, he had lotion on his hands. Not exactly what the doctor ordered. By the time the concert was over, Barkley's eyes felt like they were on fire. Literally, the lotion had stripped off the first layer of his cornea. Not the whole thing, just the outer layer. But that's still enough to knock out one of the league's.
What the fuck? The first layer? Is this the first layer? Is the purple part the first layer? That nigga knocked off this whole shit right here.
League's biggest stars.
What?
Around 2 in the morning, he was rushed to the hospital, where a specialist patched up both eyes and told him to keep the patches on for 12 hours. Probably not the look he was going for. Even though he still traveled with the team to
12
Sacramento,
hours.
there was no way he could play. So, the Suns opened their season without him. No twisted ankle, no illness, just a skin product malfunction. It's one of those moments that proves being an elite athlete doesn't make you immune to completely bizarre
we wouldn't have heard
mishaps.
about that
Body
shit.
Lotion took down a Hall of Famer for a night. Of all the injuries in NBA history, this one sits comfortably in its own weird little category. A skincare-related benching that belongs in a museum of accidental sports injuries.
Goddamn
By the way,
Charles
if you guys
Barkley.
want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Lonzo Ball's diss track. On June 11th, 2018, Lonzo Ball released a track called Kylie Kuzma. Yes, aimed directly at teammate Kyle Kuzma. This wasn't some out-of-nowhere beef. The two were tight, both rookies on the Lakers, and spent most of their time roasting each other online. But this one hit different. The song dropped just after the Pusha T and Drake feud, so it felt like Lonzo wanted to hop on that moment with his own twist. The track took playful jabs at Kuzma's Instagram habits, especially those constant workout selfies. One line straight up says he works out daily, but would never stop to post a pic. Then he shifts gears into branding, saying Big Baller Brand was making money while Kuzma was getting crumbs. Subtlety? Nowhere in sight. Lonzo went even further. He clowned Kuzma's outfits, saying he dressed for attention and was trying to be Russell Westbrook, but was just an honorable mention. Then came the line that turned heads. He told Kuzma he was getting sane while referencing his absent father. That part had fans split. Some thought it went too far, even though the rest of it stayed mostly light. The Lakers didn't love the attention. The front office asked both guys to cool it, just in case things got too personal. Kuzma responded on Instagram, joking that there'd be no comeback track. He just whop him on Wednesday. All jokes, no punches. The song was officially released and tagged as an iTunes exclusive. It was available everywhere, which made it harder for anyone to pretend it was just locker room teasing. All in all, it became one of the weirdest examples of off-court energy, turning into actual D-Will's boxing match. On December 18th, 2021,
he did
former
box a
NBA
nigga
All-Star
though.
Darren Williams stepped into a boxing ring and fought Frank Gore. Yes,
I
the
remember
third all-time
that.
leading rusher in NFL history. This wasn't some backyard charity event. It was a fully sanctioned 4-round exhibition bout, part of the Showtime pay-per-view card headlined by Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley in Tampa, Florida.
This was a bad
Williams
one.
had been training in
This shit
combat
was
sports
kinda
for
sad.
years and even co-owned a gym. So he wasn't just winging it. Frank Gore, coming off a 16-season football career, had also been training seriously. Both guys were making their boxing debuts. The result? D. Will won by split decision. The judges scored it 38-37, 37-38, and 40-35. That last scorecard really tipped the balance. Even though Gore had a solid showing, Williams landed more clean punches and controlled most of the action. The fight may have looked like the beginning of something new, but it was a one-and-done deal. Williams officially retired from boxing right after the match. He made it clear that this was more of a bucket list thing than a career pivot. Gore, on the other hand, continued training and took more fights later. But as far as NBA versus NFL storylines go, this one was short and surreal. Williams didn't take any follow-up fights and has stayed retired from the ring. Still, for one weird night, a point guard beat a running back in a boxing match on a card full of influencers and ex-fighters. That alone earns it a spot in the weirdest NBA stories vault. Kyle Lowry's almost trade to the Knicks. In December of 2013, the Knicks were spiraling with a 6-15 start and scrambled to make a deal. That's when the front office lined up a trade to bring in Kyle Lowry from the Raptors. The package? Raymond Felton, Iman Shumpert, Meta World Peace, and either Tim Hardaway Jr. or a future first-round pick. The Raptors were on board.
Oh, what? Ain't no fucking way y'all finna trade Kyle Kuzma. No, I ain't mean to say Kyle Kuzma. I ain't mean to say Kyle Kuzma. I mean to say motherfucker Kyle Lowry. For 4 niggas? For 4 niggas. In a first-round pick. Y'all gonna trade 4 niggas for this one fat boy. Hell no,
the
man.
Knicks were ready, and then James Dolan, doing Dolan things, vetoed the entire trade.
Yeah, fuck
Why?
that deal.
He didn't
You
trust Raptors.
tripping.
GM Masai Ujiri.
Hell
He
no.
was still salty from the Andrea Bargnani trade, which hadn't exactly aged like fine wine. Dolan also hated that the trade talks leaked to the media. Too many people were talking, and he didn't like the optics. So instead of pulling the trigger, he slammed the brakes. Lowry later said he was already out the door in his mind. The deal was done. He was gone, but Dolan's paranoia kept him in Toronto. And what happened next? Lowry went off. Over the final 58 games that season, he averaged nearly 20 points and over 7 assists, shot over 40%, and turned himself into a franchise cornerstone.
His ass
he became
was
a
finna get
6-time All-Star,
gone.
improved his three-point shooting dramatically, and helped Toronto win its first title in 2019. He went from trade bait to legend. Meanwhile, Dolan's veto might go down as one of the worst what-ifs in Knicks history. Lowry never
shit
wore
was
blue and
trash.
orange. Instead, he spent the next decade torching them, including playoff games with the Sixers in 2024. One move could have changed it all, but Dolan said no, and the rest is just painful trivia for Knicks fans. Popeye Jones's parking lot advice. During the 1999 season with the Denver Nuggets, Popeye Jones was a basketball vet in a hockey town. He didn't know a thing about the sport, but his sons had shown interest. So what did he do? He pulled over Colorado Avalanche legend Joe Sakic in a parking lot and asked one simple question: how do I get my kids into hockey? Sakic's answer: make sure they know how to skate. Popeye locked in on that. He signed his sons up for skating lessons right away, focusing entirely on technique, edges, angles, balance. Long before they even picked up a stick, Seth Jones, still just a little kid, went along for the ride at first. It was his older brother Justin who brought hockey home from school, saying a friend played and he wanted to try it. Seth tagged along. Then came the moment that really flipped the switch. Popeye took his sons to Game 7 of the 2001 Stanley Cup Finals. The Avalanche beat the Devils, and the atmosphere was pure chaos.
Oh,
Seth
Lord.
was 6 years old and completely locked in. That night made hockey real for him. He was hooked. The combo of skating fundamentals and that unforgettable game set everything in motion. Seth eventually developed into a top NHL prospect, became an all-star, and lifted the Stanley Cup. It all goes back to that parking lot. One question and a tip from one of the game's best. No hockey camps, no family history in the sport, just a basketball dad with smart timing and a superstar's advice that stuck. Larry Bird's glamour poster game. In 1989, during a Clippers versus Celtics matchup, the home fans tried something different. As Larry Bird stepped to the line for a free throw, a group of fans behind the basket whipped out 5 giant posters of semi-nude glamour models.
that's tough.
Full-size distract, right in his line of sight, in the middle of an actual NBA game. The goal was obvious: throw off Bird's focus. But let's be real. This was Larry Bird. He didn't flinch, didn't glare, didn't even blink in anger. Instead, he smiled, like someone who just watched a toddler try to steal second base in a game of chess. Then he calmly drained his free throws. Same motion, same follow.
Nigga ain't nothing gonna mess him up, bro.
And despite how the story's been twisted over time, no, the Clippers didn't plan this stunt. There's no credible evidence the team had anything to do with it. It wasn't a marketing move or some elaborate distraction strategy, just a fan-driven attempt at creative chaos. And no, it didn't happen in 1985, like some fuzzy memories claim. All documented signs point straight to 1989. The moment lives on through old fan forum, Facebook threads, and a few grainy clips floating around. It's one of those weird basketball stories that proves no matter how ridiculous the distraction, legends stay locked in. Bird could have shot those free throws through a car wash and still gone 2 for 2. It was goofy, pointless, and unforgettable.
You can do that shit nowadays, bro.
Bird, he just made the shot.
And the people who put the shit up gonna get fined, and the player gonna miss the free throws.
And kept it moving. Mark Madsen's
So we ain't gonna
trip.
see that shit again.
Before he ever set foot on Stanford's campus, Mark Madsen hit pause on basketball entirely, by choice. Right after graduating high school, he deferred college and left the game behind to serve a 2-year mission in Spain with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No pickup game, no conditioning programs, just a full-time focus on service. Thousands of miles from home in the mid-90s. During that time, he didn't train like a Division I prospect. His weight stayed around 230 pounds, but he said his body wasn't the same. 2 years off the court left him behind the curve athletically. When he finally joined Stanford, he was already 21, starting as a freshman with less polish and stamina than most of his peers. But he adjusted fast. That first season, Stanford made the Sweet 16, and Madsen put up over 9 points per game in the NCAA tournament. And that was just the start. Despite the gap in development, he became a 2-time All-American, earned All Pac-10 honors twice, and played a massive role in Stanford's Final Four run in 1998. Missing those 2 years didn't derail his path. It reshaped him. The mission may have cost him on the stat sheet early, but it didn't stop him from building a standout college career. He came back older, maybe slower, but more grounded, and proved he could catch up fast. For Madsen, that time away wasn't a step back. It was just a different road to the same destination. High-level college basketball, and eventually the NBA. Malone's tooth. Moses Malone wasn't just out there grabbing rebounds. He was collecting dental records. In a brutal early season matchup against Phoenix, Malone managed to knock out his own tooth while also blacking another player's eye. That's right, in the middle of the chaos, bodies flying, elbows swinging, Malone came out with a missing tooth and left someone else with a shiner. And then he kept playing like nothing happened. This wasn't some freak
back in the
accident.
day, that shit
Malone had a reputation for playing like a runaway freight train in the paint. The dude never took a play off, never shied away from contact, and absolutely refused to get outworked on the glass. That kind of intensity, it came with consequences. Teeth were apparently optional. The tooth incident became part of the Malone myth. It's one thing to box someone out, but when you're losing teeth and handing out black eyes in the same game, that's a different level of physicality.
Yeah,
Malone
bro.
didn't need to
Like,
say
what
much
the
either.
hell?
He just threw his body around, grabbed everything in sight, and made it very clear the paint belonged to him. This story stuck around because it perfectly captured who he was, a relentless force who'd sacrifice anything to dominate. Some guys avoid contact. Malone practically invited it to dinner. You weren't going to out-hustle him. And if you
got
tried,
that ring
you
with
might
the
leave
dog,
fewer teeth
baby.
than you came in with. Pavetta's solo game. Dick Pavetta ended up refereeing an entire NBA game alone after his partner broke his leg mid-game. Jack Madden, the other official, collided with Dennis Johnson during a Boston and Philadelphia matchup in November of 1984. Just like that, Madden was out, and Pavetta was the only one left to keep control of the court.
Yeah,
this wasn't
big
some
dog.
quiet Tuesday night.
I know that
it was
shit was
a nationally
tough, nigga.
televised
Oh,
game
shit.
with high stakes, big stars, and no margin for error. And Pavetta, he handled it all alone. Things went wild too. At one point, Larry Bird and Julius Erving got into it physically, and Pavetta threw both of them out. No backup, no conference, just straight authority. The whole thing turned into a showcase of his control and toughness, refereeing solo against two of the league's most intense rosters on national television while emotions were boiling over. That's not just pressure, that's every referee's stress dream. But instead of falling apart, Pavetta used it as a moment. The NBA took notice. That game helped solidify him as a trusted, respected official. Not many refs get a signature performance, but this one definitely counted. It didn't just test his rulebook knowledge, it tested his nerve. And with just a whistle and two legs, Pavetta came through it with his career trending up. The fact that he had to eject both Bird and
Back in
Irving,
the day,
that's
too.
just the cherry on top of the
Nowadays, you can probably
madness.
get away with that.
Pavetta
Well,
didn't flinch. He
niggas be
owned the
talking to
moment,
cameras
one
too
call at a
much.
time. Biedrins, free throat curse. Andris Biedrins didn't just struggle at the line. He
Hey,
disintegrated.
Warriors, baby.
Back in 2007, he was hovering around 62%, but by 2010, he hit a rock bottom 16%. That's 4 makes on 25
Bitch, how you go
attempts. It got
50-some
even worse.
percent down?
In 2011, he crept up to 32%, then plummeted again to 11% the following year. 11, as in one out of
that's
every 9 attempts.
nasty.
His coaches were desperate. Don Nelson openly admitted he begged Biedrins to shoot underhand, Rick Barry style. Management didn't love that idea. Nelson even claimed the suggestion played a part in him getting canned. Biedrins was just that deep into the struggle. By 2012, things got flat out painful. One free throw went in after bouncing off the front rim, back rim, and front again. And that was the highlight. He opened the season going 0 for 7. It became a running joke, then a national talking point, then just sad. He stopped drawing contact, avoided the paint,
Come on,
and his whole
Biedrins.
game took a hit. His confidence evaporated. He didn't want the ball. And when he did get fouled, fans groaned. Even a small recovery to 30% in 2013 didn't help. The collapse had already
how
done
long
its
he
thing. This wasn't a
played?
player having an off year. This was a full-on disappearance of a basic skill. Coaches panicked, teammates
Why the fuck
cringed,
was he in
and
the
defenders
league, though?
practically dared him to drive. When a 7-footer becomes terrified of the
Oh,
line,
7-footer.
it changes
Okay.
everything. Biedrins didn't just forget how to shoot free throws.
I got
he
it.
forgot
I got
how
it
to
now.
play like himself. Bridgman's business empire. Junior Bridgman didn't light up scoreboards, but he absolutely torched the business world. He played 12 NBA seasons, mostly with Milwaukee, averaging around 13 points per game. Solid, not flashy. And he never made more than $350,000 in a season. So how did a sixth man end up worth over $1 billion? The answer starts with fast food. During off seasons, Bridgman wasn't kicking back. He was learning Wendy's operations from the inside. He studied how it all worked, from the fryers to the front office. Then he bought more. At one point, he owned over 160 Wendy's and 120 Chili's.
Oh,
In
that bitch got
2016, he sold most
350.
of those restaurants for a reported $250 million. And he wasn't done. He shifted gears into the Coca-Cola bottling business, becoming a regional distributor. Then in 2020, he bought Ebony and Jet magazines out of bankruptcy. He even co-founded Mana Capital Partners, investing in industries like aluminum and beverages. Depending on the source, his net worth ranges from $600 million to over $1.4 billion. Either way, it's ridiculous, especially considering his playing days earnings totaled about $4 million. He turned post-game Gatorade into entrepreneurial gasoline. Bridgman's story is wild, not because of what he did on the court, but because he didn't let that define him. He treated his NBA career like a stepping stone, not a finish line.
Nah,
While
he
others chased
definitely
endorsements,
did.
he chased ownership. And by betting on himself beyond basketball, he built a fortune. most superstars never sniff. Lynn's couch crashed right
That's
before one of the most
I remember this
unexpected
shit.
NBA explosions ever. Jeremy Lin was
Sleeping
sleeping
on the
on a
homie couch.
not a figure of speech, a literal couch. He was staying at teammate Landry Fields' place, bouncing between that sofa and his brother's apartment. That's how unstable things were. He didn't even have a steady home. Just days before becoming the face of the league for 2 weeks, the story goes that the night before he dropped 25 points and 7 assists on New Jersey, Lin was still unknown, undrafted, and basically forgotten. The Knicks were just looking for a spark, and Lin was barely clinging to a roster spot. He wasn't riding limos or relaxing in 5-star hotels.
Yeah, that nigga was
He
grinding.
folding
He ain't
blankets
had time
and
for
sleeping
doing
on
all
borrowed
that.
furniture. This wasn't some stunt or motivational tale. It was real. Multiple reports confirmed it, and Lin himself talked about switching between his brother Josh's place and Fields' couch. No ego, no comfort, no sense of security. Just a guy holding on and hoping for one shot. Then it happened. He got in the game, made noise, and everything changed. The couch was gone, the spotlight was on, and Linsanity was born. It's one of those rare sports moments that didn't feel scripted. It felt like fate. He went from sleeping
That
in
was
someone else's living room
insane. I remember I was in Muscle Beach Gym. I don't know what the fuck. I think we was just doing a walkthrough. I think my dad was getting a membership there at the time. It was a new gym in Orangeburg. Walked in Muscle Beach. We got a smoothie. And I look up and I see Jeremy Lin on the TV. Not thinking about it at the time. Like, I wasn't like hard down basketball fan, but I definitely watched it casually. Like, you know, if a game on, I'd watch it. But I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this? That shit just didn't feel real. It was just like literally out the blue.
City
like,
of New York chanting his name.
torching
That
shit.
couch
Like,
is now
what?
part of NBA history. It didn't just hold a tired guard. It held the future for a few unforgettable nights. Delk's one-night firestorm. Tony Delk was never the guy you planned a defensive scheme around. A steady guard,
Who
yes,
this?
but never someone you'd expect to torch an NBA team for over 50 points. Yet on January 2nd, 2001,
Oh, yeah,
that's
the
exactly
and
what he
ones
did.
on,
Delk
baby.
dropped 53 points for Phoenix in an overtime battle against Sacramento. He went 20 for 27 from the field and hit 13 out of 15 from the line. And here's the kicker. He never scored 30 again in his entire
What?
NBA
That's
career.
kill,
Not
bro.
once. That game wasn't just an outlier. It was a statistical UFO. Delk's next best scoring nights hovered in the 20s, never touching 30. Most of his career was built on efficient, quiet buckets off the bench, not headline, grabbing explosions. But for that one game, he couldn't miss. Layups, pull-ups, free throws, everything dropped. The Suns still lost that night,
Wet
but
ball.
Delk walked away with a box score that didn't even feel real. It's one of the rare cases where a player goes nuclear exactly once. Not before, not after.
Once.
One and done. A single outburst that made people double-check the stat sheet. Fans remember it not because it started a trend, but because it didn't. It was lightning, with no second
a
strike,
bottle.
no repeat performance, just one 53-point explosion from a career 9-point-per-game guy. Tony Delk's career had steady contributions and solid
I know
minutes,
there's so many
but
niggas that
night,
cooked in
that
the
night was
league
legendary, and the
that
fact he
just
never hit 30
didn't
again
keep
only
cooking.
makes it more surreal. A one-time eruption from a guy who quietly did his job until he didn't. Bogans gets benched by the spreadsheet. Keith Bogans didn't get benched for missing shots. He got benched because his contract was just too useful.
What?
After arriving in Boston in that massive 2013 trade with Brooklyn,
Chris
Bogans had
Humphries.
exactly one real job: make the numbers work. His non-guaranteed deal was there to balance out salaries, not to make plays. He appeared in 6 games. That's it. 55 minutes of court time total.
What?
He never cracked the rotation, never got any rhythm, and barely touched the floor. Then came January 14th, 2014. Bogans was suddenly excused from the team. The Celtics said it was for personal reasons. Turns out both sides were just done. Danny Ainge said it straight. It wasn't disciplinary. Bogans was frustrated with not playing, and the team had too much depth at his spot. So instead of forcing him to sit around and stew on the bench, they told him to just stay home. And that's where the story kind of ends. On the court, anyway. He never
Some
returned
bullshit.
to the team, but off the court, that contract lived on. Boston used it as a trade chip later that year, flipping him to Cleveland as part of a multi-team deal. His deal had value because of its structure, not because of anything he did on the hardwood. Bogans didn't flame out. He didn't get cut. He got outmaneuvered by the cap sheet. No drama, no mystery. Just a veteran with a valuable contract who got turned into front office leverage and quietly disappeared from the rotation without a single outburst or moment of chaos. Will Vanderbilt. Michael Jordan didn't just torch
got up out of
opponents.
there
He
quick
roasted
and
his own
smooth.
teammates
Like,
too.
he was like, I
Will
ain't even
Purdue,
finna bother
a
y'all,
reliable
boy, bro.
backup center during the Bulls dynasty, caught one of the coldest nicknames in the locker room, Will Vanderbilt. Why? Because Jordan thought Will Purdue sounded too complimentary. Purdue went to Vanderbilt University, but Jordan flipped it into an insult. The message was brutal. Purdue wasn't even good enough to be associated with a Big Ten school like Purdue. So, Will Vanderbilt, it was just pure Jordan-level disrespect, disguised as clever wordplay. Purdue admitted later that it stung. He felt embarrassed at first, because it wasn't just a nickname. It was a loud reminder of how little Jordan respected his game early on. That's the kind of locker room environment Chicago had in the 90s. Jokes weren't always jokes. Sports Illustrated confirmed that Jordan used the nickname often, even though the rest of the team had nicknamed Purdue Cosmo Kramer for his gangly energy. But Will Vanderbilt had teeth, and it stuck. Jordan had no chill. And if you didn't perform at his level, or at least show some edge, you were going to hear about it. Purdue didn't lash out. He took it, processed it, and later used it as motivation to earn Jordan's trust. That nickname wasn't about academics or geography. It was Jordan's way of saying, you're not there yet. And in that locker room, sometimes ridicule was the entry fee to real respect. Mason, the barbecue muscle. Anthony. Mason wasn't just leveling dudes in the paint. He was clearing them out of backyard barbecues.
Damn.
That's not a punchline. It's real. Mason, the Knicks enforcer from the 90s, moonlighted as a bouncer at LL Cool J's cookout. Cool J himself told the story. Said Mason was in Queens all the time, always around the neighborhood. When somebody at the grill started running their mouth or getting too bold, Mason stepped in. According to Cool J, he'd grab them and just say, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go. Imagine it. Someone's flexing near the ribs, maybe chirping at Cool J a little too much, and suddenly 6'7" Anthony Mason is standing in front of them.
Big
not
dumb
amused.
strong
You're
nigga.
not
Boy,
arguing your
look
way
at that
past
boy,
that.
man.
You're leaving with a plate and a bruised ego. Mason confirmed the gig too. No bodyguards, no drama. Just a friend looking out. It's peak New York energy. He protected the lane at Madison Square Garden and the grill at Backyard Jam. That's versatility. It's also hilarious. 1 minute, you're checking your corn on the cob. The next, you're watching a guy get escorted off the lawn by a Knicks legend. Mason didn't need a whistle or a badge, just a stare and a shove. You want an NBA player who brought his toughness everywhere? Mason had your back on the court and at the cookout. Jordan's number 12 night. On February 14th, 1990, Michael Jordan walked into the Orlando arena expecting a normal game night until someone stole his jersey. His iconic number 23 was just gone. Locker room staff tore the place apart. Security searched the stands trying to find a fan with a similar jersey that might fit. Nothing worked. With time ticking down, Jordan had to suit up in a nameless number 12 jersey. Just a generic backup they kept around in case someone ripped theirs mid-game. No name, no branding, just number 12 on his back. And still, Jordan went full chaos mode. 49 points. He shot 21 for 43 from the field. Played 47 minutes.
Damn.
No jersey, no problem. He nearly won the game by himself.
Bro, that
The
probably
Bulls
was
pushed
the
it to
reason
overtime,
why he
but lost
scored 49. He
135
mad
to
because he ain't got 20.
129. The best part,
What?
they later found the stolen jersey stuffed above a ceiling tile in the visitor locker room. A member of Orlando's security staff confessed. He pulled a full Mission Impossible ceiling stunt to steal the thing. It eventually got mailed back to Chicago, but team officials claimed it never actually arrived. Jordan wasn't amused. He called the whole thing irritating, said he was used to routines and didn't like having his gear go missing. But the guy still cooked the magic for 49. The jersey didn't matter. The number didn't matter. Jordan could have played in a bathrobe and still dropped buckets. That night turned number 12 into an accidental legend. Posey's Fat Cut. Back in January 2007, James Posey didn't get benched because of some wild contract clause demanding extra cardio. He got benched because Pat Riley ran his team like a boot camp with a clipboard. Posey and teammate Antoine Walker both missed the Heat's team-wide conditioning benchmark. Riley had laid it out since the summer. Players had to hit specific body fat goals, and the deadline was January.
Playing for Miami, boy, you better get your shit together.
The team wanted 8, 1 percentage point shy, and that was enough to keep him off the floor. No drama, no fights, no contract language saying do jumping jacks or else. It was just Riley's rule book. If you didn't meet the standard, you didn't suit up. Posey wasn't suspended or fined. He was just deactivated and told to stay behind for more conditioning work with the team staff. People later floated rumors about a contract clause requiring Posey to do extra cardio. That's not real. There's no verified reporting or documentation backing that up. What's confirmed is this. Posey was benched for missing a team set fitness target. Plain and simple. Riley's system didn't care about who you were or what you done. You hit the number or you sat. And Posey, he was 1% away from playing. But that's all it took. The Heat weren't messing around. O'Bannon's NIL revolution. In 2009, Ed O'Bannon spotted something that didn't sit right. He saw his own image used in a college basketball video game. Same number, same look, same lefty jumper. And he hadn't earned a dime from it. That was the spark. O'Bannon, a former UCLA star and national champion, became the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit that would change college sports forever. He took on the NCAA, EA Sports, and the Collegiate Licensing Company, arguing that their rules, stopping athletes from making money off their own name, image, and likeness, violated antitrust law. In July 2014, a federal judge agreed. The court ruled that the NCAA's NIL restrictions were an illegal restraint of trade. A year later, the Ninth Circuit upheld key parts of the decision. The Supreme Court refused to hear an appeal. That win held. O'Bannon's case cracked open the dam. His lawsuit paved the way for future legal wins, including the 2021 Supreme Court decision in NCAA versus Cool J Alston that stripped away more pieces of the old amateurism rules. By 2021, the NCAA finally backed down and allowed athletes to earn NIL money. Since then,
so many
players
niggas
have
in the
signed
league
endorsement
that
deals,
paved the
built
way,
brands,
bro,
and
that we
turned
don't
social
even know
media clout
about,
into
kid.
income. In 2024, the House vs. NCAA settlement added a revenue-sharing model to the mix. O'Bannon didn't get rich from the lawsuit, but he made sure others could. From spotting himself in a video game to launching the most important player empowerment movement in college history, he reshaped the rules without ever stepping on a court
nigga
again.
right there.
If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting.
That's a real nigga right there, bro. He did everything so everybody else can be in position. He not even reaping benefits from it. I fuck with it, man.
Opa.
Who the fuck is this?
Yeah. But go ahead.
I can't play football like a robot. It's just not in me, bro. I gotta.
Right. No, my question is that you got.
I go watch that motherfucker, baby. Huh?
Have you ever burnt yourself before? Have you ever had something like this?
Not like this, but I mean, I've burned like, you know, like I've had sunburns, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I probably burnt like, you know, like you touch like a pan or something that's just too hot. But
what the fuck?
I don't think I ever had like 3rd degree. I don't think I've ever had like.
Is this 3rd degree or 2nd degree?
I don't know. I think it's. I don't know. I think they told me, but I think it's.
You are Jewish, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay. I
not like this, but I mean.
Oh, careful, Rick, careful.
Thinking about
that's
a hair
some
transplant.
bullshit.
One thing that I feel.
I guess it's some bullshit. Quick stream tonight, y'all. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Rooster TV. Don't forget to follow the Twitch and share this bitch.